Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Marissa and I am a very picky type A reviewer for handbags. Today we're going to be talking about the Verafied New York Dark Cherry Shoulder Bag. I'm going to show you the close-up detailed measurements of every part of the bag. I'll talk to you about what can fit inside comfortably based on my experience. And I'll also share with you some of the observations I've had as a user of this bag for a while, including the little nitpicky things that you might not discover about the bag until you've had it and used it for a while. Lastly, I'll talk to you about the wear and tear I've observed and whether or not I think this is worth your money. And just as a preview, it depends. All right, so if we were just to do a quick overview of the bag, it's full leather. I consider this to be more of like a dark red, almost burgundy oxblood type of red, more so than the bright kind of pop of color that I think sometimes can look pretty cheap. This looks great. It has the vintage feel and it reminds me a lot of the bags that used to be around in the 90s. And I'm a big fan of the color and the style in that combination. You'll see that the bag also has this iconic kind of Verafied New York belt strap that goes around the flap. The belt strap is not removable. It is attached to the back of the bag here and it doesn't go all the way around. So if you were hoping to remove this, you're out of luck because it's really like, it's on there, it's not coming off. The shoulder strap, however, is removable. It's attached via this little buckle, which is the same buckle you've got on the front, which is nice because the style then looks very like cohesive and inconsistent. And on the inside, you got these two loops on the flap where the strap will like slide through and attach. So you can remove the strap and wear as a clutch. Also, you can attach a different strap if you want into this bag, if you wanted a different look. So for example, I have a third party like gold chain strap that I'll like to put on some of my bags that have this feature once in a while, just to get more of like a dressed up look with it. But it's nice to know that because of the way that it's designed, it'll be really easy for you to like swap out and use a different chain, a different strap with this bag if you feel like it. On the inside of the bag, you've got a pretty good capacity and you have one flat pocket on the inside. It is pretty wide, as you can see, like it's almost the entire length of the bag itself. It's not like the little flat credit card size pocket that like does no service to you. You can in fact put like a decent amount of stuff in there. I don't use it all that often just because I prefer to have my wallet in my wallet and not take out individual things, but it's better than nothing and it's there for you if you need it. The last feature is that outside has a quick access pocket, which is flat. It spans the entire length of the bag up and down, and so it's a pretty good size. I do find myself using this one quite a bit actually because my wallet is like a flat card case style, and so if I don't feel like having to go in and out my bag a bunch of times, I'll put it on the back side here, and I do feel like it's pretty secure personally. But that's the bag as a whole. Last thing I'll probably say is that it's a smooth leather style. There's no pebble texture, which that's my personal preference. I prefer smooth leather all the way around, but it is very structured. It's not gonna slouch. It's not gonna become like super soft over time. And the base is pretty stiff as well. Like it's stiffer than the rest of the bag for sure. And I think this is a really good thing because when you've got a strong, firm base like this, it keeps the bag expanded, and so you have the full capacity of the bag. When you don't have this strong base, these bags can get flat, right? Because there's nothing to keep it like open. And I think you lose a bit of the capacity then because then you're always having to like fight the, to like put things in and take things out. Whereas here, you've got it nice and like kept open for you the entire time when you're trying to use it, put things inside. You don't have to like force it open and like expand it yourself to be able to see what's in there. So overall, construction wise, that's what you've got. I think that they did a pretty good job. When I was like opening the box, I was looking for any signs of like loose stitching, cracked glazing, any little details that would make me go, I spent too much money to see that. But I really haven't, so that's a pretty good thing. But let's take a closer look at the actual measurements so that you can see what can and cannot fit inside. All right, so now I'm gonna take some close-up measurements of the bag. And I always like to do this because sometimes websites will show the bare minimum in terms of like, oh, the, you know, width and height, and then maybe like the depth of it. But I like to know all of the in-between measurements as well. Like for example, you can see this bag is kind of a trapezoid shape. It's nice to know how wide it is here, but unless I know how wide it is up here, I won't know what I can actually put inside without, you know, struggling a little bit. So with that, the width of the bag at the bottom, and that's at the widest point, is about 10.25 inches. At the top, the width of the bag is 9.25 inches. The width at the bottom, 2.5 inches. And at the top, 1.75 inches. The depth of the pocket on the back is 4.5 inches. And let's do the flap. The widest part of the flap is 7.75 inches. Oh, sorry, the narrowest part of the flap is 7.75 inches. It's the part that goes underneath the belt loop in front. And then on the inside, I'm measuring the inside pocket now. So the height of the pocket inside is gonna be about, this is kind of tricky, 3.5 inches. So that's the pocket here. And how far down it goes to the top of the pocket itself is 3.5 inches. Now let me measure the actual width of the pocket. Should really get a soft measuring tape. All right, so it looks like it's about 6 inches. So 6 inches wide, 3.5 inches tall on the inside. Now the handle drop, I'm not gonna measure just because you have, again, that such a wide range of adjustability. Like this is the furthest hole, this is the smallest hole. With that range of versatility with how long you can make this strap, I'm just gonna assume that you're gonna find the length that you like and would enjoy using. And so let's just assume that it's gonna be whatever you're hoping it's gonna be, it's that. All right, now I'd like to show you what I can put inside and carry around comfortably. So my minimum for how tall a bag needs to be is usually, can it fit my Kindle? This is a Kindle Basic. It's the 6-inch screen size, and this guy will fit in there very nicely. It's not even coming up to the top all the way. You've got enough clearance there where it's not touching the top at all, so it's not like a tight squeeze. And I like to carry it around with a case normally, which does take up some of the capacity, but for the purposes of this video, just wanted to show you that they fit. For the width of the bag, normally the widest thing I carry is this foldable hairbrush because it's pretty rigid and you can't really compress it all that much. And I'm pleased to say that it does fit inside comfortably as well. And we know that because if you listen, it's sliding around, which means it's not putting pressure on either side or like being squeezed by the capacity or like the dimensions of the bag. So we know that fits in there nicely as well. Another thing I'll carry is my flat YSL kind of credit card case style wallet. Sometimes I'll put that in the back here. And if it's nicely, I don't feel like it's insecure. I don't feel like it's going anywhere. But for the purposes of just showing you the interior capacity, I'm gonna put that in here as well. I'll also put in my flat MagSafe power bank because I can. Lipstick. I'll also carry my contact re-wetting drops. I don't know, a hair clip. I don't carry this around every day, but I just want to show you that like it fits. And then the last thing is this big sanitizer. So I have like a flat spray travel one, but just to show you that it fits, I'm gonna put that in there. So you've got it all kind of stacked up a little bit just because of the nature of the bag itself. But with all of that, I can still close the bag comfortably, and there's no like pushing against the top flap. There's no pushing on the sides. You can still You can see it's still curved. It's not like bulging anywhere. It's not bulging in the front, not bulging in the back. Everything that I just put in has enough clearance that the structure of the bag is unaffected, which is great. The one thing I do struggle to put in here, if that matters to any of you, is sunglasses. I find that the sunglasses take up too much of the capacity inside, to the point where if you're putting other things in there, you risk crushing your sunglasses or just like forcing the bag to fight against what you're putting in a little bit. But hopefully that gives you an idea of what you can typically carry around. And I think that's a lot. For a bag that looks this small, that's quite a bit of stuff that you can fit. So I've been pretty happy with the capacity. So some things I observed after having the bag for a while. It's really important for me as a reviewer to share this with you, because there are a lot of things that people don't come to notice or appreciate or realize that they're gonna get annoyed by until they've had and used the bag for a while, by which point it's like outside the return policy and like you're stuck with it, right? So as fun as unboxing videos are, I don't really do them because they don't tell you anything that you need to know about what this bag will actually perform like over time. So after having this bag for a while, the main thing I came to appreciate, that I love, and already told you, is the fact that this base is so stiff. It keeps the bag open. It keeps the capacity big so that you can reach inside, have the space you need to feel around, put things in. It's not like a compressed slouch style where you're always like trying to fight to make room on the inside. It's nice and firm, and I think that's gonna really help with the durability of the bag over time as well. So I'm a big fan of that. Something I thought would annoy me, especially when I first bought the bag and I was kind of not sure about whether this would be an issue, is the shoulder strap is attached by this buckle, which means you're always inherently gonna have some extra material on the end of it just dangling. I thought it would drive me crazy to have that because the bag has such a clean, simple, elegant silhouette that this extra material sometimes might take away from it. However, I realized that what you can actually do is, because the attachment points of the strap are not fixed inside the bag, meaning it was going through like those little loops, what you can do is just slide the shoulder strap through, and see how the buckle came down to the edge of the bag? You can now take this extra material and tuck it under the belt loop that was made for the flap closure. So what I did was I moved the buckle down, I tucked this extra material underneath, and now it's kept nice and flat against the side of the bag, and you have a much cleaner silhouette all the way around. You don't have anything dangling, because back when it was up here, it was a little distracting in my opinion. So I actually learned that you can do this, and that problem pretty much went away entirely. So again, big fan of the loop style shoulder strap, because then you have flexibility to do that. The other thing I'll say about the strap is that it is like the thin spaghetti style. Some people will say, oh my God, I never buy bags with this because it's gonna be so uncomfortable. It'll dig into your body. And like, yeah, if you're putting this on like a laptop tote or something, right? But you're not putting it on a bag that's very big to begin with here. This bag is small enough that you're not ever really carrying around anything that is that heavy to the point where this would dig into your body. I've actually found it to be really comfortable. So not only is this unobtrusive, it's not digging in, but the shape of the bag itself lies against the body really nicely. The bottom edge here is not like a sharp 90-degree edge. It's still somewhat rounded. The top is also rounded. So there's nothing that's digging or like pressing into the body on the sides. And even underneath the arm, the buckle and strap I thought would bother me, but it really doesn't, because it lies nice and flat and it's pretty rounded. So you can see that there's like a little bit of rounding happening here, where I thought it would like actually drive me crazy to have it just like rubbing, especially when I'm not wearing like a long sleeve. It hasn't been a problem. If you're the kind of person though, when you're walking and you like to hold your bag behind your arm, you're not gonna be able to do that with this one. I personally don't always need to be able to do that. It's like a nice to have in my opinion, but because of the way this bag is designed, there's no extra like bag coming out after where the strap attaches, and so there's nothing to hold behind your arm. In my opinion, that's fine because the bag stays still anyways. The nice part about these like spaghetti strap style bags is that they stay put really well in my opinion. When you've got a wider and flat strap, those are the ones that slide, right? Because if you think about your bra strap is something like this because it'll stay. It's not wide, it's not flat. Those things will just slide right off. And whenever I'm wearing this and I move around and I'm running up and down subway stairs and I'm turning and whatever, it doesn't budge. It is relatively secure for like a shoulder bag style, and I've been really impressed with it. The only time it'll move is if I'm like bending over or something, which is fair, right? So this will stay. You don't need to be able to hold it behind your arm in my opinion. So if you were disappointed by that, just know that it hasn't been an issue for me because it's gonna stay put anyways. You can hold it from the front, right? The shoulder strap, because it's adjustable and the drop is adjustable, you can have the shoulder drop be long enough where you can comfortably rest your arm on it like this and hold it from the front. So if it really is important to you to be able to like secure it against your body, that is something that you can do. So that's enough about how you're wearing it. I'd like to talk about the closure now. One of the things that I loved and hated about this bag is the flap closure. I love flap closure bags because they're so beautiful. They're so pretty. They look so clean. But when you're a user of it and you're using it on a daily basis, it can get kind of annoying because when I open this bag, you're fighting the resistance of the flap to be able to get in. So I'll open the bag and see how I have to keep it open with my hand to get inside and it's already clamping down. So that's something you're gonna run into. It's not a big deal, but if you're looking for like a daily driver and you're gonna be using this bag a lot and you're running errands, you're better off with a zipper. So first of all, there's that. Second of all, let me just close this bag up for a second. Every time you open this bag, you have to tuck your fingers underneath this belt strap and pull it up, but look what happens. You risk scratching the front of this bag in like arguably like the most noticeable area. So you're gonna have to keep doing that every time you wanna open the bag. So what I've been trying to do instead is from the front, I'll use my two thumbs and push it up from there because I think that would be less damaging than having like all four fingers scratching from underneath. So I'll push up with both thumbs and that'll open the bag. The closure though is also another issue because if you notice, the edges of this flap are square. Every time you want to come and close the bag, you have to fight against this belt loop and get the little square corners in underneath. That's really hard to do one-handed because this belt strap is not staying like open for you to be able to tuck it in comfortably. The belt strap is always going to come back to like that flat shape against the bag. So every time you want to close it, you have to use two hands to line the corners up with the strap, tuck it in underneath, and then get that magnetic snap to close. So normally it might not be an issue if you're not wearing the bag that much, but just imagine if you were to have to do this on your shoulder, right? So let's imagine that the bag was open for a second. I'm gonna try to close it without having to look at it. And I'm like fighting both sides, trying to line up the corners to be able to get it to close. If you are on the market for a bag that is a daily driver, like you can just throw things in it, grab it, know it's gonna serve you well, this might not be the bag for you. But if you're looking for something that's like a fashion accessory that's still stylish and still has a lot of function and practicality, just not the most, then this is great. So just to close us out, final verdict is that I'm a big fan of the bag. I obviously still have it. I reach for it, I use it. Especially after I figured out how to fix the little quirks that I thought would bother me. It's actually one that I've come to really like. if you're a person who's looking for something simple, timeless, and streamlined, but still a little bit more interesting, I really love the dark cherry shoulder bag here. And I think that it's one that you're gonna find is a lot more versatile than you expect, especially if you're like on the fence about this color. I actually find it to be really wearable. I especially love wearing it where I'm wearing like head to toe black like I am today. I just think it looks so elegant because it's not loud. It's really just enough. The silhouette of it is like minimal enough that with the red, it's not too much. So I really enjoy this. I will say that if you're the person who maybe you were watching this video and you were like, oh my God, I don't think I could do it with like all of like the fighting to open and close the bag. I think that would drive me crazy. Then I highly suggest you actually check out this other bag that I made a review on. It's also by Verafied, but it's a great alternative because it's made with the same smooth leather on that other bag. And I've had this one for even longer. It's held up incredibly. So I think both bags, when you're buying it in the smooth leather, you're gonna have the same level of like durability. But this guy has a zipper that is a little bit more one-handed. So this might be a good alternative for you to check out if like you wanted more capacity, which this has, or you want a zipper, which this also has. There are gonna be trade-offs. I'm not saying this bag is better. I'm not saying this bag is the one that I like more. They're different. They're different looks, different capacities. I would wear them for different occasions. And they also have trade-offs. For example, the straps, you can see this one is a little bit more like present on my outfit, right? This one is a little bit more minimal. This strap is gonna stay on better than this strap because even though this one is wider and more comfortable, it's gonna slide. So lots of things to consider, but I think they're both fantastic and worth checking out. If you'd like to save a few dollars on your Verafied New York purchase, you can also use my 15% off code in the description below. I would so appreciate it if you used it, but absolutely no worries either way. I just hope that you were able to learn at least one or two things about the bag before making your purchase so that you're as informed as possible before hitting buy. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.